I will say, I brought this movie to the table. I really wanted you guys to watch this. I watched it already. I had similar reactions to you guys the first time I watched it. Confusion, just fucking, what the fuck did I just watch?
Just soaking it in.
Like, this is fucked up. Yeah, it's insane. Because the plot twist got me. Like, I didn't see that coming at all the first time. So, like, when they dropped that huge bombshell at the end and Woo Jin is just explaining the entirety of the plot, the 15-year stretch, how everything was orchestrated up until, to culminate in this moment, I was just like, right. My mind was fucking blown. Hello, Nomads, and welcome to episode 125 of the Nomads of Fantasy podcast. Tonight, I got some old boys with me. I got my old boy Dave.
Laugh and the world laughs with you. Weep and you weep alone.
And I got my slightly less old boy Brandon.
Even though I'm no more than a monster, don't I too have the right to live?
Beautiful, beautiful quotes. And if you're watching the video version, you can clearly see that I am in one of the most famous scenes of the movie, the hallway scene. But we will get into that much, much later. But first, real quick. Oh, I'm Eric, your host. I don't even know if I said that. But
hi, Eric.
Hey, Eric. Nice to see you.
Hello, I'm here. Let's throw it over to Dave to see what's coming up on the Nomad schedule.
Yeah. This week is Oldboy. We will be hitting off the end of February by watching Green Knight. That'll be coming out around the 26th. So that's it's an interesting one. I say it every time, but I got no idea what you guys are roping me into. Just like I had no idea what I was getting into tonight. So
right, yep.
After that, we'll finish off. We'll do a catch up for the end of February, and then we got a special little episode after that. Getting some Star Wars content coming, which is gonna be pretty funny. I think we're gonna have to all have drinks in our hands for that.
Anybody's really done something like this.
Yeah. Do we want to keep it a secret?
For now.
All right. That's a little teaser.
I don't want people going and looking up. Yeah.
All right. But yeah, that's what's coming up.
Cool. All right. A lot of good stuff to look forward to. I usually don't. I feel like I don't promote our Twitch that much, but we've been streaming a little bit more on Twitch lately. Trying to do some Friday streams, just gaming, getting together, hanging out. Twitch.tv/Nomads of Fantasy. If you want to support us over there, it's always fun. And also, we have the video version of the podcast. If you haven't checked that out, youtube.com/@Nomads of Fantasy to see our beautiful faces. I don't. Yeah. I don't really want to delay any longer. So enough with the pleasantries. We're gonna get out of Act 1 into Act 2. We're gonna get trapped, imprisoned for a while, and emerge with a sense of vengeance right after this. Welcome back. We are here to talk about Oldboy. And I got so damn excited to talk about Oldboy, I forgot to do the social section in the first act. So we're going to do it at the top real quick. It's quick. Couple comments. We reached out on Twitter at Nomads of Fantasy. Surprisingly, nobody really responded. Our good buddy Jake said he had never heard of it until you guys were talking about it for the schedule, which, Jake, if you haven't heard it, you should watch it. If you're listening to this episode and you haven't watched it yet, just pause it, go watch it, and come back, because I feel like this is one of those movies you don't want to spoil for somebody before they've seen it.
I saw this without.
You want to go in blind. Spoilers. If you don't know anything about it, that's the best thing you can do going into this movie. So,
it is easily accessible on Netflix. Everybody has it. It's it's easy to watch. It's unlike everything that we always have to rent or whatever whenever we're watching stuff on here.
Which it was not before easily accessible. The first time I watched this, I had a hard time finding it online streaming. I had to find it and download it in nefarious ways. Yeah. So, but now it's on streaming, Netflix. So it's out there. It's out there for everybody to watch. And also in our Discord, the nomadsfantasy.com/Discord or the nomadsoffantasy.com. Both URLs work, even if you forget the. Tejas over in our Discord, I know he was really excited when he saw Oldboy on the schedule. This is one of his favorite movies, but he says Oldboy is a movie I knew almost nothing about going in, and without spoilers has become one of those art movies that I love talking about, but I absolutely know does not sit well with everyone. Gives me serious Memento vibes. 10 out of 10 for me personally. That's definitely some high praise, which, I mean, it's kind of universally praised. I mean, it's got a 83% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, like a 78 on Metacritic. Yeah, it's
back in the day.
A lot of awards.
It did well for itself.
But yeah, let's not bury the lead here. If you don't know what Oldboy is, it's an action psychological thriller sort of combo here. Came out in 2003. It's a South Korean film directed and co-written by Park Chan-wook, which I didn't realize this or know this, but this is part of his Vengeance trilogy. So they're not all like sequels or anything like that. They're all a trilogy of like the same theme of vengeance. So there's no sympathy. There's no sympathy for Mr. Vengeance. That was the first one. Then there's Oldboy, and then there's Lady Vengeance. So, but they're all supposed to be regarded as very good movies. So, and this was also, I don't know if you guys knew this. I didn't know this until doing some research on this movie. This was also adapted from a manga. So this
I did not know that.
Yeah, this was a manga first adaptation, but this is one of those where people consider the adaptation to be better than the original source material.
Okay, that's cool.
So yeah, I was doing a little bit of research. I watched a video on YouTube. I forgot. I think it's by Too Spooky was the channel. But it was they do a series called Manga versus Movie, and they were telling all the comparisons between the manga and the movie. And some of the things are similar. Some of the things are drastically different. But enough about all that. Spoiler warning ahead of this. Like I said, we're going to get into spoilers. And I mean, this is an almost 20-year-old movie. But again, like I said, if you haven't seen it and you have any interest in seeing it, you should watch it before
this is your warning.
Knowing anything about it. But with all that said, please, gentlemen, let me hear, just right off the cuff, raw impressions. What did you think of this movie?
How about what the fuck, man?
Yeah, that's good.
I had no idea where this movie was going.
Good. I'm
my
glad.
Head was legit spinning by the end of this movie.
That was one of my questions. Like, did you guys at all like see this coming? Was this
credits were rolling? I still didn't even know what the fuck happened. Because, like, I had to go.
I paused and rewound
online. Like, I don't know if I missed a line or I didn't realize when he was realizing. I didn't realize. Like,
the first time you watch it, it's a whirlwind for sure.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there at the end.
The big reveal, I saw that coming.
What?
I only let my guard down.
No, you did not.
Yeah, I did. I'll give you. All right. If we're all right, spoilers.
Let's get into it.
Spoiler.
Yeah.
So, the main character, Dae-su Oh, is tricked by Woo Jin Lee, the main villain, to sleep with Mido. Or Mido.
Mido. I think it's
turns
Mido.
out that young woman was his daughter. Now, there's a lot of stuff that happened between that for them to not realize.
How we got to that point.
So, they tell you that he's been locked away for 15 years, and there's a wife and there's a daughter. The wife died, and the daughter is still alive out there. And then he never goes to look for her. I'm sure just to like keep her safe.
Yeah.
But I was just like, he goes to this place. He eats. It's wild. He eats this real octopus. It must have been fucking.
By the
real.
way,
I think it was real.
that
It's
was
absolutely
real. That was
And he's
real.
vegetarian, right?
He actually did that. He's like a Buddhist, and he had to like pray after he did it because
Sure.
So
it scene was just some of these scenes I'll never forget.
They're in that.
But anyway, so he does that. He said, "I want you to eat something alive," and he does. And then she just like falls for him, and like he's like at her apartment. So I'm just like, something's not right. Something's not right. Like this is probably the daughter. So that's when I first started thinking about it. Like, they like. Oh,
she
you look
even
familiar.
says at the restaurant.
That.
She says, "You look familiar. Do I know you?" And they kind of never.
So I was just like,
that.
but when they actually did have sex, that's when I let my guard down. Like, well, it can't be her. It can't be the daughter because he's fucking banging her.
Yep.
But then later on, it's just like, man, it really does feel like incest is like a thing because then it's revealed about the whole revenge story and why it started, which is crazy. Then I was just like, oh my God, is it really? And then when it got to the big reveal with the book and all that stuff, I was like, yeah, it's. So that's how I saw it a while ago. But I was just like, I've just never seen a movie other than like Game of Thrones that really kind of has incest as like a very strong point in the plot.
Yeah.
But
right.
I didn't even get that the daughter was. I thought she was dead the whole time because I don't know. I must have missed like the news report. I must have missed a line in there. I thought he was just framed for their murders, not just the wife's.
He was framed for the wife's murder, which is why he couldn't. Basically, he couldn't contact anybody he knew. They orchestrated that whole thing so he would be isolated, from everybody else. And they throw a red herring in there a little bit because they like, quote unquote, find out where his daughter was, and they're like, she's supposedly with some like foster parents in Sweden, which is kind of like why he doesn't really go and look for her. I don't know if you guys caught that. And like the clock shop.
Sounds familiar, but
yeah,
I didn't believe anybody. I didn't trust it because like the whole movie is just.
That's the whole point.
Fucking crazy.
That's the whole point. You don't know where it's going, who to trust, what's why this is happening to him. But yeah. Well, before we move on, Dave, I feel like you haven't gotten a chance to express your feelings.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, it's a fucking ride. I was very confused throughout it. I don't know, because I didn't know about the daughter or whatever, and I just, it's the question he's looking for, who did this to him, and why the fuck would somebody do that to somebody? And as we find out more, like it just gets more and more kind of fucked up kind of towards the end, and like because the ending the ending is some graphic scenes, and like I'm like he goes from like yelling at was it Woo Jin Lee?
Yeah.
He goes from yelling at him to like begging to him to barking like a dog to fucking
licking his shoes,
cutting out his own tongue. And I'm like, what the fuck is this guy doing? Like this makes no sense to me. And then after I had to go onto Reddit afterwards and be like, what did I miss? Like, and then it's like, oh,
the huge plot point.
Yeah, the huge plot point of like, oh, this was your daughter. Like, I didn't know.
You didn't know that during the movie? That's wild.
Like,
I mean, the last 20 minutes or so is that whole like sequence of him going to the penthouse and the whole reveal and like them basically explaining everything.
Was like the book. Like he flipped through the book and he told the story. Woo Jin told the story about his sister, and that's why, over something stupid that you do as like a little kid, like just telling somebody like that's a weird fucking like you're as a villain of the story, like he's not taking responsibility for his actions, he's just blaming somebody and dedicating his life to revenge on him, which is fucked up in its own part, but like
his whole purpose in life.
Yeah, and at the end, like you kind of get to see that that really was his only purpose in life. So
yep,
it was. I we can get to greater detail later, but like I thought it was a fun ride. I was thoroughly confused, but once I knew what points that I missed throughout the movie. Apparently,
Yeah.
I mean, it's nice because it's like not your John Wick, like just revenge. Just I'm gonna go murder everybody, and I'm gonna kill the bad guy, and at the end, like I go back home. Like it's not. It puts a good twist on that revenge genre, and like gives the bad guy his reasons for wanting revenge, Woo Jin, and then like it's interesting. It's a good twist on that tale because it reminded me of you guys seen Count of Monte Cristo?
I haven't, no.
Oh, we gotta add that one to the schedule. It reminded me a bit of that movie, so we'll just leave it. We'll leave it there. Maybe we'll put that one on the schedule.
I will say, I brought this movie to the table. I really wanted you guys to watch this. I watched it already. I had similar reactions to you guys the first time I watched it. Confusion, just fucking, what the fuck did I just watch?
Just soaking it in.
Like, this is fucked up. Yeah, it's insane because the plot twist got me. Like, I didn't see that coming at all the first time. So like when they dropped that huge bombshell at the end and Woo Jin is just explaining the entirety of the plot, the 15-year stretch, how everything was orchestrated up until to culminate in this moment. I was just like, my mind was fucking blown. The second time watching, it's a completely different movie because you know what happens. You know the twist. So I was looking for kind of like how Brandon, when you brought the menu to us, you knew what was going to happen at the end. And the second time through, you're watching and looking for these details of like hints of what's going to happen at the end and how everything is coming together. And it's just such a different movie watching it from that perspective, knowing the huge twist that's going to happen. Because the whole time you're just, it's harder to watch almost, especially when they finally, do have sex because exactly what's happening. And it's even more fucked up the second time.
And it's raw. Like that was one of my notes. I'm like, the sex scene is fairly raw. Like
everything
like
about this movie is raw. Like like the violence, everything is very intentional, and the way it's filmed too makes it even more impactful. But man, yeah, I would highly recommend watching it again. Maybe not right away, but it's a lot to take in. But I think you definitely
I do want to
pick up more, understand more the second time through because I definitely did.
There's a whole art layer to this movie. Like it just looks good with the use of color and the camera angles and the visuals and just some of the stuff that happens and like the whole ant scene, like was weird. You know, I was like, is this a sci-fi movie? Like to me, this reminded me of The Matrix and Fight Club a little bit because I think I'm going in for one kind of movie, but it's in disguise. It's one of these kind of movies, and I don't see it coming. Like when I saw The Matrix, I had no idea. I thought it was a friggin' like cop movie or undercover movie or something like that. I had no idea what it was about. In Fight Club, I didn't see that thing coming at the end. I literally thought it was about two guys just creating a fight club, and I didn't pick up the big theme that they're trying to talk about with anarchy and stuff like that. And in this movie, I was just like, what is this movie? It's a revenge movie. Okay, great. He's kicking ass, and he's really good at it. And he's gonna get to the bad guy, and he's gonna win, and he's gonna stop the bad guy. The bad guy's gonna reveal something, but then when he finally does figure out what's going on, well, not figure out, but who's behind it, and he meets him, the movie turns slowly. It goes from this action movie to like, yeah, he can kick people's ass, but that's not at all what this movie is trying to communicate to us. He's being punished.
Right.
He's not having. It's not a revenge story. He's being punished. All of this is planned out for him.
I was gonna say, you slowly realize every single thing in this movie was like orchestrated.
It's not.
Right.
Yeah.
By Woo Jin, like the point of him being released at the 15 years, which I guess good on the guy for waiting the 15 years until she was of age for them to have sex. Sure.
I didn't even think of that.
Because that was the whole reason why. In the end, he's like, why do you think I kept you in prison for 15 years? Because his daughter was 3 years old when he was kidnapped. So she was 18 years old when he got let out.
That makes it extra creepy. Like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
get
it's
out of
fucked.
prison and you're like, I don't know. He wasn't a young dude. He's probably in like his late 40s or 50s. Like after 15
No,
years.
I think he was supposed to be like younger, but the
That was
actor
in my
himself.
notes. I was just like, there's no way that this cute chef would just go home with this guy who just ate a live
Well,
octopus
that's
and
the whole
passed out.
point. Did you guys pick up the whole plot about the hypnotism?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but I'm just saying. And when I was watching it, I was like,
Right,
something's
right.
off between this because, like, why would
Exactly.
she go?
Everything's a little bit off in this movie, and you don't know why until the end.
Right.
You know? And
I
that's
didn't know
what
if you could
I
trust
love
her or
about
not, you know. And like the way they film it, and they edit her in and all that stuff. I'm like, is she even real? Is this his daughter?
it. Yeah.
Is this a plant to spy on him? So like, I was totally invested, like in all of these characters. I'm like, what is going on in this movie?
And it's like
it is a fucking ride, man.
The whole time you're wondering, like, I mean, what they did to him is pretty fucked up. I mean, to do that to anybody,
extremely fucked up.
Trap, like,
just that by
kidnap
itself.
somebody, trap them for 15 years, imprison them for 15 years in a single room, and it's so like, because it's like this private company who, that's their whole thing. Like they had a line: a bastard you hate but wouldn't want to kill, a bitch you detest but want more than to kill. That's what they do. So they you hire these people and they will kidnap this person, and you pay them and they'll keep them for however long that you want to keep them. And yeah, it's fucked
Wild, dude. Wild. And just the characters, they're all just like all these other sub villains and stuff like that were just interesting.
Villain with the gold teeth.
Yeah.
The leader of the whatever. I guess he's like the captain of the floor or whatever.
The prison.
Like just that dude by himself is just fucking makes me chuckle after. Well, because he does get fucked up when when he gets there the first time, and then he kind of comes back as like a recurring bad guy throughout, which is kind of hilarious. I don't know if there really was much comedy in this movie.
Dave, you had because like, you know, was it Dae-su, the main character.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems things were going way too convenient, and like, how did he not know any of this? Like, he's just to me, I was just like, every time the main villain revealed himself, I'm like, yeah, dude, you're doing everything like the way he probably wants you to, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it just felt like he just would go to these places and just do what he was told. And now when you look back at it, he's totally, is he hypnotized or what?
Yeah.
Was he hypnotized to do
they were
all these
hypnotized throughout the entire movie, like
the whole time, right? Okay,
right.
That's why I wasn't sure if he was making decisions and he's just a dumbass, or if he just never stopped to ask, why am I doing this? Like, why am I being let out? Why am I attracted to her? Why am I going to these places? Why am I trusting the guy that I just pulled teeth out to watch her in that fucking room? Like, why would he do that? I'm like, dude, I understand it. Like, he cut the hand off, but like, you can't trust these guys. You should.
And that's
know
exactly
better.
what Woojin said. Like, just because I cut his hand off means you think you can trust him. So yeah, exactly.
He just kept playing right into everything they wanted, but did he make up?
Building.
But did the main character, did he come up with this plot though? Like, did he want to sleep with? He didn't want to sleep with his daughter, but like
no.
They just hypnotized him and the girl.
They basically hypnotized them to fall in love
into this.
Essentially.
Okay.
They got them together at the right place at the right time, and they explain at the end, like, there was certain keywords or phrases or certain actions that would make them do certain things.
Yeah, you're right.
So
when he answered the phone and shit.
Yeah, the sound. Yeah, that's right. Yep. I just watched the last 20 minutes of the movie, which is where my head is fucking spinning, because up until that, it was like a John Wick movie. You know, he's just kicking ass, kind of dumb, just kind of following along, but like he's kind of gonna figure this out, right? And then when he got to the final base or whatever, the lair, the headquarters,
final boss.
Yeah, he that's when I stopped. I'm like, okay, he's gonna kill this guy. Let me finish this tomorrow before we record. And then when it turns into it, he goes, "Do you want to hear a funny story?" And I'm like, "What is this shit?" So I was like, "Oh my god, this guy is like the biggest troll ever."
Yep.
He's got a goddamn tramp stamp. That was what I remember from the last 20 minutes of it. He just gets out of the shower. He's walking around naked, and he's got a big cross tattoo right above his ass.
Oh yeah,
dude, what's going on there? I wanted to know more about Woo Jin's tramp stamp.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
That's just me. Yeah, that is the fucked up part of the movie. Right there.
the back tattoo, exactly. Nothing more fucked up than that.
So
there's a lot of. No, go ahead.
I'll just say that so this movie has, I would say, one of the coolest scenes I've seen in a long ass time, and I can't believe it.
Let me know
over
what
20
you
years to
guys
discover it.
thought about the hallway scene.
The hallway scene it is one take, right?
Yes, that's the whole thing.
I
so
love
they
how
did
when he gets stabbed, they cut.
So it's a
no, I don't know. Do they?
No. So it's a two. I was actually watching a video earlier of the director of this movie talking about the hallway scene.
Okay.
It's a good video. But it was a 2-minute single take shot, and it took them 15 takes over 2 days. So they shot 15 one-shot takes of this, and he just chose which one was the best one. So they did this 15 different times.
Some cardio.
It just goes
right
on.
And he said, like,
and
there's no way with this, right?
He's like losing some of the fight, but then he's winning. Then it's just like,
even the director said, with a take like this that's so long, and again, a single shot take, like, there's gonna be mistakes, which makes it feel more authentic. Even, like it didn't feel perfectly choreographed. Like, it felt rough and scrappy. Yeah. And I mean, that's Oh Dae-su's character anyways. Like, he's a survivor, so I think it fit really well in the movie. And yeah, just the slow pan through this long hallway while he's taking on like 50 dudes, so good.
It's really
like 20,
good.
But yeah, he's got the elevator full of guys too.
That's true.
Forget about those.
Yeah, we don't see that scene, but that hallway scene, just like how it was filmed, where it's like black on the top and the bottom, so you really get to see the whole hallway.
Right.
It's like far enough, and there should be a wall there. We should not be able to see this, so the wall's gone.
Just a perspective you don't see in movies.
It's a manga thing, I think, right? Like, he must have seen that scene.
Yeah.
It must have been in the manga.
No, actually,
that to life.
This hallway scene was one of the things not in the manga.
No way.
This was wholly original to the movie. Yep.
That's cool, man. Wow, incredible. Yeah, I loved it. I thought it was just like I was so in when that happened. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like chuckling to myself. I'm like, how is this?
Right.
What is going on here?
Wait, I mean,
this movie had me have loud reactions to it. It's just like when he cut his tongue out. I literally was like, I can't watch this. This is, my God, he's doing it. I just lost it, man.
The teeth pulling got it for me. I'm
like, that made me cringe. Even the second time, I was cringing.
I kept waiting for them to stop.
Real, though. Like, it looked legit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was doing one of these where I was still watching it, but I'm like,
there's a lot of those scenes in this movie, for sure.
And then he gets into the hallway and he's like, "Who's AB positive blood?" And a couple guys raise his hand, like, "All right, you guys take him. He's lost a lot of blood." I'm like, it's a pretty badass thing to say. That's he's not just a pansy boy.
I liked when he.
I was just to say, one thing that I noticed in this movie, especially in the hallway scene, like, there's no guns in this movie. There's one gun in this movie, actually, at the end, and it's Woo Jin. But apparently guns are illegal in South Korea, which is why there's no guns, and like that's why all of the dudes had wooden sticks.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
That's all that they were using. Yeah, is the wooden sticks. But yeah, and fucking Oh Dae-su shows up with a hammer, claw side out. But,
it got the job.
Got to improvise.
Yeah, and he knew right where it was in her apartment too. That was weird. I didn't think about something. That. There was a couple ones, but like with that weird, like, what the fuck is really going on here? Because like I said it out loud, like the chick from the sushi restaurant, he just appears back in her apartment, and then all of a sudden they're just like dating. All of a sudden, just out of the blue. When she sews him back up too, I'm like, I guess she is a sushi chef, so she's good with a knife. But how does she know how to like stitch up a knife wound on somebody's back? That looked like it probably punctured a lung or something like that. It was pretty nasty.
Was it her though? Like, there are these questions because we don't see her do it. They're both asleep, when
they're knocked out a lot with this. Yeah,
because they have that they have that gas that they just knock them out and then they transport them to different places or do whatever they want with them. So you can't really you can't even believe anything that you're seeing.
Like when after they had sex, and I wrote this down. I was like, why is this creepy guy fucking with these people? Like, because he's doing weird shit throughout the entire thing. Like after they have sex, they gas him, and they're laying in bed, and he shows up and he just like lays down with them and starts like rubbing her like with the finger. Like it's like
no, that was creepy as hell. Yeah,
it's evil kind of weird. I don't know, joy that he's getting out of it. He's definitely relishing the revenge that he's getting. But
oh yeah.
Over something so stupid though too. Like, can we talk about that for a little bit? Like the reason why he's getting revenge.
Yeah, of course.
They're crazy people. When he was a kid, just insane.
Like somebody saw him, filling up his sister and licking on her boobies and stuff. like, dude, take some responsibility. Like, that was wrong.
Own it.
Own your shit. And then who was it? Dae-su ends up like telling one person.
He told his friend. He told his best friend.
And that's apparently how the whole rumor started.
Ju-hwan. Yeah, which it's fucked up because Oh Dae-su isn't even the one who like spread the rumor. Like he's not going around telling everybody. Like you said, he told one person and then it just kind of snowballed.
Well, it was him that was the eye in the window.
But he saw it.
He's the one right.
He's the only way out of it. So yes, I guess he is to blame.
It was the catalyst.
Like maybe stop banging your sister, or like I didn't even know if they had been banging at that point. Like I don't know if that was the first time that they were doing.
They were just doing secret touching.
Yeah.
Well, she liked it. She got that mirror out, and she's just like.
Well, at first she was trying to deny it, but then she just let it happen. So
she was I was just
like looking at her own face and looking at her in the mirror. I'm like,
I was like, what is this fucking movie about, dude? So I know that's when that was really weird.
Is that phantom like she said that like the rumors started to be so true that she started to believe them, and there was like a phantom pregnancy, and she stopped getting her period, and like, is there any truth to any of that?
Like, a lot of she was.
Yeah, you don't know what's real.
She may have been, she may have not been, but yeah, I mean, it all comes down to the fact that she, wanted to end it, because she couldn't take the rumors, she couldn't take the shame, so she was gonna kill herself, and that is a tough scene too, like the flashback with Woo Jin
the brother, and
when he's holding her above the dam, so like he's partly to blame too, which is. There's
a lot to blame.
Yeah.
Well, he loves her and he's guilty.
Yes, exactly. Which I think, so, I mean,
it's incest. It's a fucked up thing.
I think he was like talking about just going back to the ending for a second. I think the whole time he was planning to kill himself, but he needed to get his revenge first, and once he got that, he's like, I got nothing left to live for, so he dedicated his whole life to it, and that was it.
Is he supposed to be the same age though? Is Dae-su?
He looked way younger, right?
He looked like
yeah.
I think he was the daughter,
right? I mean, I don't think they were in high school, but the age thing is kind of weird, because they were both in high school at the same time, but yeah,
right. And Dae-su probably was like a delinquent. He was transferring and all that stuff soon, anyway. So
smoking on the playground. He's a little
he could have
shit.
Yeah, he could have been in there for a few years behind and all that stuff, but
I will say the scene where he actually revisits the school is actually a really cool and well shot scene, because you can see his past self like running up the stairs, and then it shifts over to his future self. Like he's literally like chasing his past, because like he's like chasing the former. He's like retracing his steps because he can't.
Right.
I don't think he quite remembered exactly what happened. So
no. Right.
So he's like, he's literally retracing his steps and trying to remember exactly what happened, and then it all comes back to him. I just thought that was a really cool and well shot scene, how they were shifting between the past version of himself and the present.
So can we go back to how this movie opens?
No.
Yes.
It's just like, again, it starts off like, I'm like, what is this movie going to be about? Is this a dramedy, like a dark comedy?
It starts out very odd. Yeah.
he's like obliterated. He's hammered at a bar, or not a bar, in a police
station.
The station. Yeah, and he finally gets picked up, but he's doing some weird ass shit. He's just a ruckus.
It's like a drunk college kid, just kind of doesn't know, just blackout drunk, doesn't even know what to do himself. He's taking his shirt off. He's trying to pee in a corner.
Yep. He's trying to pee. But his buddy like comes and gets him out. And then when he's supposed to go home or whatever, he gets snagged by somebody with a purple umbrella or something
out of thin air. Yeah, just gone.
And that's when we're like, okay. And then he's there trapped for like 30 days or 3 months or something like that. And he's starting to crack. And he's just like, why am I here? Why am I here? And all that stuff. And then it just turns into 15 fucking years. And so it's interesting because, like, you don't know where this movie's going. You think he's going to escape. Like, okay, this is about a guy escaping and getting revenge on the people who held him captive. That doesn't even pan out. They just let him out.
Right.
So then he's, like, released in this box in the middle of a green field. Purple box, green field. All right, the cool color stuff. And then he encounters, it's like Alice in Wonderland. He just meets, like, a random character. Like, there just happens to be a guy right next to you looking to commit suicide on top of that building.
Planning to kill himself with his little fucking foo-foo dog in his hand.
Right.
Which is a callback to probably the sister trying to kill herself. You know,
I mean, it's the same thing. He's holding him.
Scene with like, him holding it, but like, you know, somebody's about to jump to their death, essentially.
Right.
Which could have been a setup as well. I'm assuming it probably was.
Yeah, I agree. It was a very odd scene because he like saves him just to tell him his story, and then Oh Dae-su says, "Fuck you." Yeah, you don't need to. I don't care about your story.
I want somebody to hear my story. He's like, yeah,
it's fine.
And then he goes and commits suicide, and our main character just walks away unfazed.
Fuck. Yep.
The sweet pair of sunglasses.
But right, like a little after that, though, it's kind of funny. He's like, he was just full of so much rage and revenge in his room that he taught himself how to fight. He had like these calluses on his hands, and he's just been like kind of like, what else are you gonna do in that free time?
Right.
So he picks a fight with some younger guys, and they start messing them up. He's like, all right, I think I can do this, and then he kicks the shit out of them. But it's funny because he's like, all right, do all that imaginary training teach me anything? Let's see. And I'm like, oh, apparently it does. It works.
Yeah.
Does the whole fight with a cigarette hanging out of his mouth too.
That's badass.
Which I thought was
Yep.
Kicks ass. But there was that callback we said from, you know, the guy committing suicide there, and then, you know, the dude Woo Jin's sister or whatever. But after I figured out what was going on, like things started to make more sense. It's the weird like reciprocation of like the same kind of punishment that Woo Jin puts on Dae-su as you know him, because you know he builds in the incest part of it, like the cutting out of the tongue. Like there's the whole thing about, you know, what you did I forget what it was, like you did with your dick, and you did it with your mouth or something like that. You did it with your tongue, or you killed my sister with your tongue or something like that. I'm like, well, it makes like I know it's still nasty as shit, Brandon. But
it's just a fucked up story, but go ahead.
He gets over to like, when he does like the first spit, when he gets to like the pool, it's just like,
oh, dude, I know. I almost like gagged at that. It's just
a mouthful of blood. Yeah. It's
the production of this is so good. But they really capture the feels
real.
Sometimes.
Yeah. But like the metaphor doesn't get lost. Like, you know, there is a reason why they're putting, you know, scenes like that in there. They didn't just drop that in there for, you know, shits and giggles.
Well, something I remembered too, like, I mean, you said like, you know, it wasn't this one tiny thing is what, you know, launches this whole revenge plot against Oh Dae-su. And they even you know, call that out in the movie. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember who said it, but it might have been Woo Jin. But he said, like, be it a grain of sand or a rock, they all sink the same. So even the smallest, like, even if it was unintentional, he didn't mean any harm by it, it's still was this catalyst for this catastrophic thing that happened, to his sister. So it's fucked up. One domino just set this whole thing into motion, and then basically ruined his life.
He had to get rich though, man. Like, how did he get lucky and get so rich? Like, he's so rich that he can like pay.
Yeah,
for
they never go into
Oldboy.
why
he's a good education. As
is that all it was? Just had some money.
I guess so. Yeah.
Would have made his revenge plot a lot shittier if he didn't have all this
money.
Right,
all these resources.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Well, let's be honest. The real bad guy of the movie, everybody's like slighted and murdering each other and trying to do horrible revenge stories on each other. The fucking hypnotist. Like, that chick is like, we see her while she's hypnotizing somebody while they're incarcerated and unconscious or whatever. But at the end of the movie too, like, we should probably discuss this part after.
Yeah, I want to talk about the end.
After, Woo Jin.
It's equally disgusting, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, this part I read was meant to be ambiguous too.
No, I meant like the very, very end. Like the last scene in the movie we're talking about, right?
In the mountains?
In the snow?
Yeah.
With them sitting next to each other?
Yeah.
After
looking at the mountains?
Woo Jin gets his revenge, ends up having nothing to live for, blows his own brains out in the elevator.
Well, he accomplished his goal. He never wanted to live. He just wanted this guy to suffer.
Mm-hmm.
He got his, he put his some suffering in there. I guess we see Dae-su. Does it go right to the snow where he just wakes up in the snow sometime later?
Yeah. He's sitting with the hypnotist. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, walk me through the scene, and Eric.
There's a couple things.
And then to the end. So just go through this final act, and then we can discuss it.
Yeah, so...
to make sure I understand it.
I mean, really, they're, like Dave said, they're... I don't know why they're here, but they're sitting in the fucking wilderness, 2 chairs. The hypnotist is talking to him, and he's basically begging her to make him forget what happened. Make that part of himself, basically separate himself into 2 separate parts. One who knows the secret and one who doesn't. And obviously, he wants to be the one who doesn't know the secret. So she does whatever she does. And then it's, again, we can discuss, but you're led to think that, okay, he forgot, right? But right at the
version of him that knows the secret was said, you'll walk like a couple
every step you age, right? Every step you age 1 year, the monster will age 1 year, and when he reaches whatever 100 years, 70, yeah, something like that, he dies. Yeah. So all that happens,
and he dies, and you see he dies like the way they edited it, because like you kind of go back and forth into some of these other locations, like where he is in his mind.
Right.
He's ending that life there. He died in that office, or the bad guys.
Right. Yeah.
Place,
exactly.
Right.
And then Midu is there, and she hugs him,
surrounded by the color green.
Yep. Tells him that she loves him. And then
she's wearing bright red, like that fucking same red hat as I'm wearing. It's a red coat. Right.
Yep. So, and then that's kind of where it ends. We see
he's
Otis,
hugging her.
Yeah, we see
and he starts
Otis's
crying.
face. Yep.
But then he turns that crying into like anger and frustration.
Well, it's that,
and like a sickness.
It's that same maniacal smile that he has through the whole movie. It's that.
I don't know. It transitioned from like happy, sad to like I'm disgusted with myself. Like I think he fucking. I don't think it worked. I don't know.
I'm in agreement there.
So, but then like she says like
it's all imagined. Like, is there any of that really happening in his head?
Well, because she was saying like there's only like who else did you come with? So the hypnotist was just
footsteps. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. There's footsteps leading away from the 2 chairs. But yeah,
just saying that the hypnotist did this
was there. Yeah. So after watching some,
but where was she though? Like the 3 of them all in the fucking woods. Like that's what I'm saying. Like there's something else going on there, because she was just like hiding behind a tree. Are you guys done with the hypnotism?
Well, we also can't. Well, we also don't know. Well, we don't know where Midu was when they were together. We don't know. Like we don't know how she got there.
Oh, true.
We don't know how long,
because he was really cold.
We don't know how long he had been laying there by himself.
Right. Good point.
So yeah, my interpretation was in that the hypnotism like vision where he's back in the penthouse, the monster is on the side of the glass that's in the penthouse, and then turns, and then he sees the reflection in the glass, which is supposed to be like the quote unquote good version of himself. Then the monster turns and walks and is supposed to, die. But in reality, Oh Dae-su does the same thing as the monster. He gets up from the chair, he walks, and then he collapses, right?
Right.
And we see the other version of himself still trapped behind the glass in his mind. So that version of himself is trapped forever. So that's my interpretation. He didn't forget. He's just going to have to live with this forever. And can he live with Midu fully knowing this and keeping this secret from her? So like the aftermath of this movie is fucked up because like if he still knows this and he still remembers this, but he's still with Midu, like does he tell her? Can he live with himself like fully knowing the truth? Like there's a ton of different scenarios that
I think it's designed to be like that.
Yeah, exactly. It's left to interpretation. No, it was not a happy smile.
I thought that looked like a happy smile where he was like.
No, it looks like he's like he wants to believe his own lie. And he just knows
he was in pain. Yeah.
I don't know. When in Rome.
I mean it's left up to interpretation. I think that's the whole point.
Because it could all be dream sequence anyways too. Like it doesn't know, but like if it's more fucked up that like, hey, did I close out this other part of my brain just so I could bang my daughter that I love? Like I don't know. It's weird.
But if he doesn't remember, he doesn't know. So and like he loves her, but yeah, it's there's lots of moral.
It's
stuff here going on.
It's kind of like when we watched the Banshees of Inisherin. It ends and it's like this isn't an end. This is not how things are supposed to end. This is not a complete story, and it's designed to be that way. It's like this is their relationship. It's a fucked up relationship that these two guys have. Same thing with him and his daughter. It's fucked up. It's almost like a Greek tragedy or something like that. It's just sleeping with your daughter, but but she doesn't.
Right. Like you obviously don't want to, like, it's two sides of the same coin. Like you do want to tell her because you can't live with yourself not telling her, but you don't want to tell her.
She should know
because
you don't want her to know because
it's fucking disgusting and she'll be exactly. It'll lead to and I think this was what Woojin wanted. Well, it's funny because actually what Woojin wanted was for them both to know, because he had the box at the end for Midu to open. But Oh Dae-su's like screaming, don't open it. And, he fucking cuts his tongue out to prove that he's sorry for what he did. And then Woojin's like, okay, don't, tell her not to open it. But with all that said, maybe Woojin wasn't going to make her open it in the first place. Think about that. So we don't.
Because he's laughing his ass off, dude. He was chuckling so hard when he's just like, look at this guy freaking out trying to get my. And it's like he was waiting for this moment for so long. He was reveling in that moment. But
this one fucks with you.
So the colors, what do the colors mean? I could not really understand them. The best I could is like purple means. The purple means either mystery or it means Woojin Lee is present, because the purple is always in a box. It's in the background, but it was always a box with like the shard glass, like it's like reminding you of what started, and like this is him punishing him.
Right.
But the green and the red were everywhere.
The green,
it was just like the green
they mentioned
like the dark, like the bad part of his life, like the life that he's trying to escape, and the red is like what he's trying to live in, which is the good.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think you're kind of on the right track, because again, in that video with the director, they were talking about the colors they were using, specifically in like the hallway in the prison, and they used a lot of green, to represent, like, usually green is supposed to be like serene and like, represent nature and whatnot. But in this instance, he wanted it to represent like rotting and decay and like, just fucking a place where you don't want to be. So I think that is what the green means. It's like remnants of him, his imprisonment and all that, and leaving that
Right.
behind. So there's still, remnants of that throughout his life.
It's just weird, and sometimes I think it's just there to mess with you. Like the chopsticks were fucking red when he's trying to find that very specific like food that he kept eating. You ate the same thing. I'll never forget that the rest of my fucking life. I'm like, that's kind of fucked up but funny at the same time.
Yeah.
But he had the red chopsticks and stuff like that. I'm like, what does red mean in this movie? You have a red tie. There's a green laser on the purple box. I'm like,
just let it be red.
Red be red. Just let red be red.
I have a question for you guys. Did you guys notice all of the clocks and like ticking and stuff going on? Like clocks were a major recurring thing throughout this entire movie.
It's just I thought it was because he had like 5 days to find his captor. I didn't know it meant anything else.
I don't know either, but that's just something I noticed in this time through. Like even right in the beginning in the title sequence, like the letters of Oldboy are like ticking back and forth,
right?
And then they visit. There's a lot of instances where there's a ticking clock in a scene. They even go to like a clock shop. That's where he finds out supposedly the whereabouts of his daughter. So like I don't know, clocks are a recurring thing in this movie. I don't know if it's supposed to represent like his time, like the wasted time that he spent being imprisoned, the time, like the 5 days, like you were saying, the time, where everything, the countdown till everything culminates and, everything's revealed. So all that stuff. Yeah.
Keep things moving.
Mm-hmm.
You got to keep that clock ticking.
But just something I noticed this time through.
Did you guys know there was the remake of this? Eric, have you seen the remake of it?
I haven't, but I've heard it's not good.
I was just looking through the wiki here. Steven Spielberg originally intended to produce the remake starring Will Smith in 2008.
Interesting.
I'm like, that's a different movie.
Right.
Just,
I mean, I like Josh Brolin. But my question that's the main guy in the remake. But apparently the whole incest plot is not in that movie at all. It's an Americanized version of the movie, so they took that out.
It's a Western audience.
It makes it that much more fucked up. Like it makes everything like the length that he went to get revenge over such a small thing is just mind blowing in general.
Yep.
The soundtrack in this, while we're hopping around on stuff, like it had a lot of cool stuff and a lot of like recurring themes that kept popping up throughout it, which after the movie ended, I'm kind of like humming them to myself as I'm like walking around.
That song was great.
Yeah, there's a bunch of good stuff in here, and I think it's all composed. Yeah, it's all composed. Looks like Shim Hyung Jong was the composer on it, and it's all like original music, so it wasn't something that they kind of pulled from anything
I loved
else.
It. It's just so dramatic, especially when the villain was around. It was just so like, I don't know, not epic, but just important. In the background, something,
Yeah. Yep. There's definitely a recurring theme with Woojin in the music, but all around great. Cinematography,
great pick.
Music.
It is definitely a perfect pick for this podcast. It is not something I've ever seen before, as far as like what I see coming out of Hollywood or your standard American film, and glad that I was introduced to it. It's South Korean movie that came out in 2000 what?
2003.
3. Man.
U.S. release was 2005.
Yep.
Okay.
And then apparently had a very small theater release, but like DVDs is where it
took off.
Made it
cult following then, huh?
Yeah.
Got it. I've seen it in a lot of lists.
Yeah, which I was kind of, I don't know, not shocked at, but because it is like its own kind of special little thing. Because it like breaks the mold on a lot of the tropes that you would expect in like a revenge kind of movie.
Yep.
Just great.
And he's like it is like a similar to like a John Wick one-man army type movie, but he doesn't kill anybody. If you noticed,
Doesn't
he does
he
not
the
kill
first
anybody.
guy when he shows up with when he like walks up the first time in the hallway? There's a guy
He
sitting
hits
down
him.
and he's got
I think he hits him with the hammer, but I don't think he kills him.
Hammer sticking out of his head. No,
yeah.
Else.
So, but like in the fights in like the corridor scene, he doesn't kill anybody, even though he's kicking everybody's ass. He does not kill anybody. He rips some teeth out, and he stabs Mr. Han, Woojin's henchman, in the end. Like he stabs him in the ear, but then fucking Woojin's the one who, delivers the final blow.
That?
Probably
he wasn't listening. Didn't need him anymore?
Yeah, he wasn't listening to him. He didn't want Han to kill, because Han was about to kill Oh Dae-su.
Oh, because he hurt him, or was that guy dying, and he's like, "I'm gonna kill this guy before I die," kind of thing.
Probably.
He's like, just got stabbed in the ear with a fucking...
He's probably got brain damage at that point. He doesn't know what he's doing.
He was going down after that. That was fucked up, but
okay.
One thing I did love in this too, we mentioned cinematography a couple times, but the interesting transitions that he used between scenes, where like he'd be looking out a window, you'd see a train going by, and then all of a sudden the train would just come into focus, and you'd be going into the next scene. It's like, there's a lot of smooth ass transitions between scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Not a lot
visually, very cool.
Jumping it, so yeah, it's a cool one. I was very confused, and the more I've like had to ruminate on it, and kind of figure out what the fuck was going on, I liked it. It was it's definitely an interesting pick, good for this kind of setting.
Keep bumping my fucking mic. I would definitely recommend watching it a second time. Eventually when you feel up to it. But I think, like I said in the beginning, like second watch was a completely different experience. And like, still good, but just good in its own separate way from the first time you watch it. So definitely one of those movies that is worth a rewatch and a revisit if you haven't seen it in a while, or if you haven't seen it at all. Check it out.
Jump in.
You guys got anything else to say about Oldboy before we go into act number 3?
Let's get in the box, guys.
All right.
Get in the box.
Get in the box and escape.
Boys that were old.
I
guess Dae-su is kind of an old boy, but I was expecting an elderly gentleman.
He
kept his mind. He kept his mind pretty sound for 15 years. I mean, I feel like I would have gone insane.
They did say also that they gave him a drug to make him not go insane. They gave him a drug to prevent schizophrenia.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, okay.
I think the TV probably helped too. Like getting to watch
It was
TV,
his only friend for 15 years.
He knows a lot of stuff from it.
He didn't get fat either. Just sitting there eating.
That's another cool thing. Apparently, the actor who played Oh Dae-su lost like 20 pounds or something to get like in shape for the role. Because I think like in the beginning, like he looks a little bit chunky, but then throughout his training, I think they filmed it reverse though. So I think he got in shape because they said the last scenes that they filmed were the scenes in the police station. So I think he like got in shape, and then he like got out of shape again. Yeah,
that's good.
So thought that was cool. But all right, let's get out of here. Get in the box if we all can fit in that cozy little purple suitcase.
Big enough for the three of us.
And we will come back after the little break with a new game. Should be a fun one. Short one, but fun one. Right after this. And we are back in act number 3. With a little game that I made up. I didn't come up with a clever name for this game, so I'm going to call it One Man Army. So I mentioned this in our discussion. One Man Army movies are like a subgenre of movies. So think about a protagonist. It's one person, and they're taking on a whole slew of enemies.
Yeah, anything with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
So
Rambo.
Yes, exactly. You got it. And this movie can be considered in that subgenre, but I mentioned one differentiator of this movie is that Oh Dae-su didn't really kill anybody. Right. So, the game, you guys are going against each other. We're not working together this time. You guys have to, I picked 5 movies, 5 one-man army movies of the subgenre one-man army. and you guys have to guess the body count in the movie. So this is we're not going Price is Right rules. This is like you can go over, and whoever's closer gets it right.
Okay.
So these are all. So this is it's all going to be how many people the main protagonist of the movie killed. So, let's begin. You gentlemen know the rules. So first movie, how many people?
First? Oh wait, no, we both go.
Oh yeah, you both. Yeah, it doesn't matter who goes first. You can just shoot off your answers. You already mentioned it. You already mentioned basically all of these. How many people does Arnold Schwarzenegger kill in Commando?
Oh. Oh, let's see. You got some opening scenes.
I mean, dude, he is gunning down people left.
This is one of his highest. I'll give you a hint. It's one of his highest body count movies among Arnold movies.
Okay. All right.
Let's say I will go first.
Okay.
I'm gonna go 3 digits on this one.
Oh wow. Okay.
I'm gonna go like 113.
Okay. 113
I was gonna
for
say
Dave.
76.
76 for Brandon. All right.
Oh, Eric's got to do some math now.
No, I don't. No, I don't. Brandon is like almost spot on. The answer is 81.
Okay. Oh wow. Okay.
Yep. 81.
I just remember scenes of him just running around, just hip firing, and just
hip firing.
Yep.
Dude. People from like 80 yards away,
throwing people out windows. Fucking the rocket launcher. Man, yeah. He was messing fools up in there.
He's dead tired. This is the best.
Golden one-liners in that movie too.
So good.
Did we didn't I almost thought we did Commando on the show before, like when I was coming up to this game, but we haven't done it yet.
We want to do some stupid fun shit because
another summer of Arnold.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
good stuff. All right, that's 1 point from Brandon with Commando. The next movie, how many people did John McClane kill in the first Die Hard movie?
I mean, how many guys were there in that, right? So probably I'm gonna go with like a much lower, say. I'll say 16 keeps popping out.
Okay.
Man, that's pretty close to where I was going too.
All right, Brandon's got a 16.
Let's see, how many dudes can you fit in a van? There are like 2 vans. I'll go like 14.
Oh, all right. Dave has watched Price is Right before. I usually go one higher, but whatever. Dave is correct. The answer is 10. Well, not correct, but
10?
closest. The answer is 10.
Okay. I can't fit that many people. They only had like 2 vans, I think, when they showed up.
Yeah, much smaller. You know, more close quarters, but he still got he still snuck 10 kills in there.
You got the most out of those 10 kills too, though, because it's a long movie. Really stretch those out.
All right, got a good game so far. 1-1. Third movie. How many people did John Wick kill in the first John Wick movie?
Oh my god. Oh man.
Oh man.
I mean the house scene alone. I mean, fuck, dude. Dave just watched all those, didn't he? Did you watch the fourth one?
Dave should have an advantage.
All 3 of them are on the first 3 are on Netflix. I haven't seen the 4th one yet.
Same as me then. Okay, yeah. I love the third one.
On this one. So we were rotating back and forth.
Okay.
John Wick. It's got a couple, like, 3 or 4 of those big scenes. I'm gonna say like 64.
Okay. Brandon, what say you?
I was gonna say 68.
68 for Brandon? Wow. Close. Very close. Brandon takes it though. The total count was 77.
Oh
wow.
Close to Arnold. Close to Arnold in Commando.
Wow.
Yeah. I figured out after watching 3 of those movies in a row, the trick of the John Wick movies is he's always shooting somebody coming at the camera that you don't see coming. Mm-hmm. And there's just dudes that just run towards him and just go, bah! It's like,
that's all these action movies, dude. They just need some snipers. Just hire snipers.
Yeah, don't go with guns blazing. Just exactly.
So you can get some long, some
blow
long
up the building
is him doing shit, and you don't have to have everybody like in that cluster. Just have somebody run on and die. That's fine.
All right. Close game. 2 for Brandon, 1 for Dave. Next movie. How many people did Rambo kill in First Blood?
Oh.
Which is the first movie of the series.
Right.
It's not Rambo. It's just First Blood.
Is it the one where he's walking through the town and he's all sad and the cop rolls up on him and starts being a dick?
We don't like drifters.
Okay. Yep.
I'll give you a ride through town. Get out of here. Ah, dude, it's like 4.
Okay. Brandon says 4.
It's not going to be 4. He's had a lot of cops coming at him. I'll go like 19.
Dave says 19. Well, this was a tricky one. Trick question here. The answer is 1.
Oh.
It's the main guy at the end, right?
I think so. I haven't seen First Blood in
so I
long.
thought there was a scene where like he had to kill a couple other cops before that. But okay.
But yeah,
so just 1.
The official count is 1. Yep.
First Blood and only blood.
Mm-hmm. But fun fact though, by the end of all 5 movies, the total count is 490. So after 1, it ramps the fuck up and Rambo starts murdering fools.
Oh, that's great.
That last one, I think he was in Vietnam. He's like ripping dudes' throats out with his bare hands and shit. Like
Rambo,
dual machine guns.
I mean, that's what was so interesting about this one, because Rambo is known, like, that's one of the things about Rambo. He fucking murders everybody. But in the first movie, he killed 1 dude.
It's such a different movie, though.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess he's playing hide and seek in the woods for a little bit there, and he's just trying to get away.
Yep.
But,
yeah.
Huh. No shit.
All right. So Brandon's got, what, 3 now? Brandon takes it. This last one's for fun. How many people did, I guess, the bride kill in Kill Bill Volume 1?
Oh, man.
Oh. Because that's got, trying to think, she kills the 3.
You got the assassins, though. That whole assassin scene is insane.
The Crazy Eights.
$43.
All right. Brandon locking in with 43.
I'll go 52.
All right. Neither of you were that close, but Dave takes it. The answer was 76.
Woo.
Wow.
Yeah.
She's got like that scene where she's killing all the ninjas and the
that was the big one when she infiltrates the Crazy 8 gang hideout, and she's just slicing everybody left and right. But all right, Brandon takes this first edition of One Man Army.
I get released.
Yeah, you get released from your prison to go get vengeance on your captors.
I get another 15 years.
Brandon, Dave gets another 15 years.
Yep. Shit.
Yeah, so apparently I think it was the movie franchise with like the most or one of the most kill counts is the Expendables, and their total over, what is it, 3 movies now? 3 or 4? I don't know. It's like 1,200. Like, what the fuck? In the first movie, it was over 100. Second movie was like 250. It just kept going up from there.
You got to be doing like airstrikes on shit,
right?
To get into that number. Like,
they're just rolling through with tanks, blowing everybody up.
I have not seen.
I'd be curious how many Indiana Jones kills.
Oh well, I didn't even shout out this site, but there is a site called moviebodycounts.com. which I sourced some of these from. They don't have a ton. This site also looks like it's from 1999, so not the best
Thanos wins
website in the world. But
he's in the billions.
True, true. But
just
I guess
on Earth.
I think this is sort of counting on-screen deaths, though. I don't know if this counts
okay.
What
about Hot Shots Part 2? Because they have the kill count going on, and they're like like Die Hard or whatever, and then it goes ding ding, and then it goes to like Rambo 2 or whatever.
Right.
And you just see the kill count going higher and higher.
The only Indiana Jones movie they have on here is Kingdom of the Crystal Skulls.
Well, on IMDb they have
how that's a thing.
They have a body count list. And there's another site that has a body count list called All Out of Bubblegum, which is kind of funny. But according to that, Raiders, he killed 61, Temple of Doom 43, Last Crusade 50, Crystal Skull 61. So yeah, he's up there. He's up there.
Wow, Indy.
50 per.
He's killed that many people.
I guess so, man.
They were all bad guys. It's okay.
Yeah. No. Don't get it twisted. Fine. Yeah, exactly. All right. Yeah, that was fun. Fun discussion. I'm glad I got you guys to watch Oldboy. And I'm glad that I got to watch it again with you guys and, get your first impressions. So, I hope you enjoyed that one, and you listeners, nomads out there, I hope you check this one out. And if you, for some reason, have listened to this entire episode and, spoiled yourself on this movie that you haven't seen, shame on you, but go watch it anyways.
Yeah. And when you're done with that, we'll be watching Green Knight. So add that to your watching calendar.
We are watching Green Knight next, which again, that's one I don't know anything about. So I'm going blind for that one.
Shrek.
So
I made that joke before, and I'll keep it going.
The next Shrek. I'm here for it. If it is, I'm here for it.
I mean, yeah, I'd watch another Shrek too.
Yep. So, all right. Well, what's saying we get out of here? I'll do our closing ditty here, and then we can head on home. Not hopefully not back to the prison in which we whence came. But,
478. How does that even work?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's like a secret. It must be a secret floor because it's like you got to push both buttons at the same time to get to that.
Oh, it was 06.
That was the penthouse.
06.
7.5.
So that was the penthouse, but yeah, the prison is you have to push the 7 and 8 at the same time because that's like the Chinese food delivery guy. That's what he did to get to that floor. So it's like a secret.
Oh,
floor.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but all right, yeah. So we got Green Knight to look forward to next. But until then, you can follow us on social medias at Nomads of Fantasy on Twitter and Instagram, at the Nomads of Fantasy on Brandon's distracting me with his sunglasses on TikTok, youtube.com/@Nomads of Fantasy for all video versions, stream archives, all that good stuff, and twitch.tv/Nomads of Fantasy for our live streams Fridays and whatnot. And I can't forget the nomadsoffantasy.com/Discord. Going to chat in there with us, all that good stuff. But until next time, as always, safe travels, nomads.
Peace out.
Peace out, Girl Scout.